I don't know, I did, that's the only thing I thought when I listened to it, that I thought, wow, that's, if that isn't a culture inquiry, what is?
So do you think I should go in and call that out more explicitly?
Well, why not?
I think that's good feedback.
Because, I mean, you've done the work of getting the clip and putting it in.
Mm-hmm.
You know that there is a transcript with YouTube, right?
Yeah, so I can pull the transcript. I can add that in there. You know, I was trying to be conscious of the length, but I can add the transcript and call that piece out. That's not difficult to do for sure. If you feel like it would strengthen calling people's attention to it.
You might not need to do the whole thing, but I mean, when you said that, you know, you lit up too, you know.
Yeah.
And she did too. So it was that, you know, what we talk about, that life affirming energy. It just
Absolutely.
Yeah, can I just check something? It's just that Jackie was talking a little bit before we started about feeling that the paper, as it's written, as Jackie's paper's written, it was missing something in relation to the paper that she's preparing with Kathy Griffin for EJOLTS. And I was saying that what I think Jackie has done here goes beyond, for example, Michelle, where you have that personal relationship with Jackie, that Jackie again has with Kathy. But here, I think that Jackie has extended her relationship into a culture of inquiry through this notion of global citizenship. Because with Shivani, Parbati, and myself, it seems to me that it brings us together with qualities of relationship that you're actually talking about now in terms of that clip, but it draws us all in inclusively. So I'm just saying, Jackie, I think that will be worth looking at in terms of the significance of the whole symposium, in terms of bringing us all from different contexts, different cultures, in terms of what you've done with the cultures of inquiry.
Well, I do feel like it's missing something. I just, you know, I can't let it go because I feel like I haven't really kind of got it. Like there's something there that I feel I'm close to, but I haven't quite got it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's it, pushing it to that more toward the social movement concept and expanding the boundaries.
I'll have a look at it, because that's what feels to me to be, as you say, extending the boundaries in relation to a social movement, which is actually global, you know, and it's linked to the values, but you live those like with Michelle or with Kathy, but you are also living those qualities with us in terms of the symposium for AERA and that sense of accepting educational responsibility in terms of a global movement. Yeah.
I wonder where Parbati is.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, she knows because I sent it to everybody. But also, you're going to edit, or are you going to, Parbati? You're going to work with Shivani as well, I think, on the papers that both Shivani and Parbati have sent through for that final edit before we can post them, you know, on the website and then get them to AERA.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do think that we probably have to upload our own, don't we?
Well, we can check that, but as I say, I couldn't see where to upload. You know, I could see that if we don't put our papers up there, they use our abstract, you know, in terms of the program.
I think if you go into the website,
Yeah,
you will find your little section in it.
Okay.
And it will give you the option of uploading your paper.
Right. Okay. Well, as I say, I hadn't found that, but it just feels to me that when you've gone through Shivani's paper and just done that, perhaps that final edit, you know, with Parbati, Michelle, I think you've sent us your final paper. I can actually have mine ready, hopefully by Wednesday or Thursday, and we're all ready to upload. Depending, you know, because yours, Jackie, it would be good for us to have a read through your final version. Oh, help me to correct. Wait a minute. Are we meeting now? Please send.
Yeah, I'm sending it now.
Okay.
We send her the link.
Yeah. Oh, that was strange. I've sent. Has it gone through?
Yep, I just sent it to her. went through on my end.
Have you done it?
I sent her the link.
Yeah, I've
See if
done
it
that.
comes through on yours.
All right, I'll do the same. Hang on. Right.
Okay.
Parbati, oops. So look. Okay, I've done that. Okay, so I've sent that off, but perhaps for some reason she didn't receive. Oh yes, here she is. That's good. Good. I think, yeah, there we are. That's good. Hello, Parbati.
Hello. Hello,
Hi.
everyone.
Hi.
Today I lost, I don't know where I have missed.
Oh, it's all right. You're on now. That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could I just mention, just as a catch-up, Parbati, that Jackie had mentioned that she was feeling that there was something missing from her paper, okay, in terms of the, if you like, the generativity, the creativity, originality. And I was just suggesting as you came on that Jackie sends us all her paper before she's ready to upload, because I think yours, Parbati, and Shivani's, Jackie is going to go through, if you like, just for a final edit. Michelle has sent hers through, and I'm going to send mine by Wednesday. But if Jackie would send her final one through, if we could then look at it in terms of something which is extending this idea of a culture of inquiry with values in our relationships, which have been, if you like, extending over time as we've been supporting each other with our inquiries, just to see if Jackie is, when I say capturing, I mean representing something about the quality of our relationship together, which has got this global implication. So it's not just accepting our educational responsibility within our own contexts, we're doing it in one sense as global citizens. And Jackie has been supporting us with that quality of relationship, which yes, is established on a personal level with Michelle and Kathy Griffiths that Jackie's writing another paper with. But I think there is this quality that Jackie, we could show is represented in her paper. Anyway, Jackie, that's what I would just suggest so that you feel satisfied, but, you know, before it's uploaded.
Well, I think it's close. It's just, I have this niggling feeling that it's not, I'm not quite getting there, you know? It's very frustrating because I read it and I think, yeah. And then I think, what is it that you're contributing here? Is it? I mean, keep pushing until you get underneath it. And that's kind of where I'm at, because I think I think what we're doing is pretty special.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I love the different perspectives that people bring into it. I mean, yours with that connectedness and the relationship with the students, and then with me and the conference, Michelle, and then Parbati with that spiritual perspective, which really resonates with me, you know, and the different use of language. And I mean, sattva is a new concept in my world now that was not there before. And then with Shivani and the courage that it took to, as the director of the department, to go and take a course with the students, the early childhood education students, and go out in the field and learn alongside of them. I mean, that's a huge value of democracy, for one thing. But I mean, courage and vulnerability in combination there. I mean, that's fabulous. And then Jack has been this influence on me for a very long time. How long is it, Jack? 20?
I think about nearly 30 years, I think.
Yeah, 25. And we just keep kind of pushing each other a little, you know, well, he'll get out here on some edge and I'll say, well, what about this? And then I'll get out on some edge and he'll say, well, what about this? And so, I mean, we've got this kind of connection that goes back to when I started I first met him at a conference in 1995 in Toronto. Think about that. He was the speaker and we were sat together at lunch and he said, you need to do your PhD with me. And I looked at him and I said, now look, I live in Paris, Ontario, and you live in Bath, UK. And that's all right, we'll do it on the internet. Oh, wow, how crazy is that? I didn't even know how to copy and paste at that point.
In 1995, that was really a innovative concept. I mean.
But it was also, go on, Jackie.
And when we look at this Zoom, I mean, this is just perfect, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there was a program then, very early video program called See You, See Me.
God, yes.
And it was terrible. And you'd be on there and the voice would be, wow, 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 wow. And we kept trying, didn't we, Jack?
Yeah, yeah. And it's got to this point. But can I, it's just to add, because Jackie, we've got some beautiful clips of Jackie addressing various conferences with that energy and that, but there was also something I want to bring in, which it's just that the four of you may not agree with, and it's to do with, I think, Jackie, that when Shivani talked about the conference that Shivani, you were going to, and the women, okay, it was women with the research. Now, your faces all lit up with that same kind of energy, yeah? So there is something that I think, Jackie, you might not want to bring it in, but I think that gender has been very important because you have supported, if you like, many women who traditionally have been disadvantaged, you know, in research terms or academic terms. And you have actually, I think, supported those when you were superintendent in terms of ideas of disadvantage, where you worked with those kind of questions of equality. And it feels to me that you might not want to bring up that gender issue, but for me, it was very important in terms of, like the support now with Shivani, Parbati, you do it so spontaneously, and like with Mishra, with an energy that comes from believing in the person and what they're actually doing. And I think that you distinguish the values, like you just did then when you were talking about Shivani's work and Parbati's, that resonate with your own, that you're bringing into this idea of a global network and global citizens. And you see part of your educational responsibility as enabling these values to be lived more fully. Anyway, that's what I see, Jackie, which is so important, I think.
Well, thank you for the conversation. You know that I'm so dialogic. You know, yeah. I can sit here and think forever, and sometimes I just wallow around in my own ignorance. You know, and when I get into conversation and there's a really good dialogue, things start to fall into place for me. So that's very helpful.
Yeah, but if Parbati and Shivani in particular, because I think Michelle and I can easily respond to Jackie's final draft, but I think both Parbati and Shivani have insights to share coming from within your own cultural understandings, especially to do with qualities of relationship that enable connections to be sustained. And you're coming to these values, as I say, from cultural perspectives from India and from Nepal. And it would be lovely if you would just look at Jackie's paper and just ask yourselves, is Jackie representing some of these qualities which you know you've been living in your culture? Are those being recognized by Jackie and represented? Because that will help us to communicate what we're meaning by global citizens and exercising educational responsibility. But does that sound all right to both of you? Because I think, Michelle, and myself have already done this in a way with Jackie, but we're limited because of our own cultural understandings. And you're bringing in these very exciting cultural insights from Nepal and India.
Yeah, I'll see the paper again and I'll try to connect with this. Like while you are sharing culturally, there are I don't find much evidences like where there are the female leaders or master, in a sense, spiritual master, or those who represent or who talk about. It's related to knowledge sharing, and so from the cultural perspective, I will see, and I have tried to link with the Bhagavad Gita, the dialogic process.
Yeah.
There, the way we are engaging, it's a kind of questioning and answering, not exactly the same, but more. It is connected to that, and the way the Arjuna question to the Lord Krishna to get the answer. We also we also share our vulnerability, and we also ask, like particularly I asked to her as many questions as I like to ask, and she's happily answering. So that I try to connect with that, but still again I will see and I'll try to connect more.
Great. Is that right, Shivani? If you have a look at Jackie's paper, just to look at, because you have got, again, from that, the culture with the Indian culture, because I mean, it's millennia years old, that the culture with the values. And I think you'll be able to bring, like Parbati, some insights into Jackie's paper that will help to strengthen it from this global perspective. Yeah. Good. Okay.
I want to add one thing in our context while talking about gender issues, particularly on the women issues, mainly male. They are supposed to be the protector or helper, or they are the ones who have to take care of the female. So that is the one way of perception, and particularly female, they are not consider as they are not advocating on the they are advocating, but by they are not like in the practice, female are not much helping by their heart for the uplifting, for empowering and encouraging the females. Like males are more supportive and they are empowering other males in comparison to females. uh, uh, Females, like gender is more problematic because of like female they don't have, I feel in that way, like female are not encouraging other females so that they would be empowered, supportive, and so that is very completely different, like the way Jackie has been doing to me particularly. I feel a female can be empowering, supportive, and she can understand in better way. But in academia also, female students and even female faculties, they are not much closely supporting other females. So that's new, and in our culture, in practice, it's very less. So I could not easily connect. I don't know about Shivani's what happens in India, because female are more dominated by other females like in-laws and other family members. So there are problems more than males within the house also, and within other areas also. Not much empowering, like which we might think like one female will be supporting other female, but it's not I don't see the that connection. Shivani?
Actually, I am a gender trainer.
Okay.
And therefore, whatever you said, I just relate it with my training. Yeah, in
Okay.
some case it is there, but in my case, I'm lucky enough because, you know, being in this leadership position, I'm last 11 years, and so many females come forward and help me out. But what
Oh.
you said is completely, it could not be denied, because for a females, it is required to help from, you know, from family also and from professionals also. So
Mhm.
yesterday when I gave my session on, we have a bill on National Council on Social Work. We have a session on it. And when I have to read that bill and I have to give my own suggestion, a critique that I have to do, being a gender trainer, I just keep in mind that is there is gender balance or not. You know, that is what required. So as a female, I always prefer that female should be supported first by female only. That is all required, because we both the females are selling on same boats, having the same emotions. So in my case, I'm lucky. Why I'm saying so? Because recently, last 3 years, I'm in touch with Swaroop ma'am. So like you, where the Jackie help you out, in my case, she is helping me out a lot, you know. So of course, as a female, we always look for a gender balance. So this is how in Indian Science Congress, I emphasize a lot. Okay, let's have a try to understand the role of woman in the research. So this is what we can do from our end.
Yeah,
Thank
nice.
Yeah, but good for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very good.
that's
Yeah,
great.
you are lucky.
Just that when the latest living theory thesis to go forward for a doctor was Ariana Briganti's last year. And Ari focused on gender justice because she'd been working in Afghanistan, and the gender bias literally against the women was very marked. So that idea of gender justice was really important. And I think, Jackie, you have worked, I think, with that kind of passion throughout your life in terms of you'll certainly help the males to realize their potential, but you've also been aware of the issue of gender justice, and it felt really important to highlight this as part of the way in which we're trying to develop this culture of inquiry as global citizens, and recognizing that in the world as a whole, that there are lots of countries where there isn't gender justice, you know, and we're
Most of
illustrating,
them,
I think.
actually.
Sorry, go on.
Most of them, actually.
Yes, most of them. So that would be great, I think, if you would, Jackie, if that feels good to you know, to look, and then we can all respond possibly by the end of the week. Well, as soon as you can, if you hope your tooth is better, so you feel energized to finish that, that would be great.
Well, thank you for this. I feel much better. I feel like my brain's going again. That there's some new perspectives to kind of think about, and I think that'll give me enough impetus to finish it up.
Okay, great. Are we okay, or is there anything else you'd like to bring up before we finish? But it's great to see everybody.
So what's our plan going forward? Do we need to continue to meet to get this, what we're going to do in the symposium together? What do you feel?
Well, go on. What do you feel? Parbati, Shivani, Michelle, are you happy to have another meeting where we try and plan?
Yes,
I'm happy to meet till the baby comes.
Okay, so shall we put it in my diary again for next Monday and just send you the you know, the Zoom meeting thing?
So just to think about kind of what will it look like, because it'll be online like this. You know, who will take the lead, and what parts of our paper do we want to, because I think we'll each get a little segment of time.
Mhm.
And then how are we engaging the audience in our breakout room to have a dialogue, you know, like we're having today. And I was wondering, this might be a crazy idea, but I was wondering whether we might do a dry run and invite, if each of us could invite one person to be in the session, we could try out how we might go about that.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we don't have a date yet, but once we do, maybe we could just say, let's have our own little practice session and try out some strategies to see what works to engage people.
Yeah, I really like that idea. And as well as that, I don't know if you like this idea, but you see, with the 5 of us, when we've got our papers and they'll be ready perhaps in a week, we could actually, if you like, present the symposium with the 5 of us without any other audience, just to check with each other the central ideas that we're trying to communicate. And in the conversation, I think we'll be illustrating the values and the relationships that we believe in. So let's think about that as well. Yeah.
And I wonder too, do you think we should have a, just if we're each going to take a moment to kind of present our papers, do you imagine that there's a slide or two that goes along with it for visualization for the audience, or you think it's just we're going to be talking through it?
We can check, and I can check in terms of, for example, if you share the screen, you can actually show your PowerPoints if you wish. Again, I'm not sure, because we'll have our papers on the web, we can actually give people the URL. I imagine that our greatest motivation for the audience is in the relationships between us as we contribute, and show that we're supporting each other and we understand each other, and why we're valuing so much this idea of the educational responsibility. But let's all of us just think about that, what it is I'd like to show. But I think there's something that Jackie stressed, the importance of dialogue, a dialogical way of being. And we'll have, the resources can be on the web and accessible. But I think there's something about ourselves, with 5 very different cultures, in many ways. So should we meet next month? Are you okay meeting next month at the same time?
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Okay. Right, then we should have the papers, hopefully. That'd be really great. Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah. See you then.
See all of you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.